Welcome back. I'm Dr. Rivka Edery, and I'm the author of Spatial Psy. Today is day 11. Phase 2 begins, and the posture of this practice changes today. I just want to tell you something funny that happened. When I was recording the milestone yesterday for day 10, I had a total intuitive arrival. The song Zombie by the Cranberries was looping in my head out of nowhere. You know the line, in your head, they are fighting? I had to laugh because as we step into day 11 and start looking for patterns, that is exactly what your mind is going to try to do. It's going to start fighting you. It's going to want to take a single coincidence, turn it into a massive story, and trap you in a mental loop. In phase 1, we work blind to quiet that battlefield. Today, in phase 2, we introduce the Disconfirmation Metric to keep the mind honest. We aren't here to let our head spin patterns. We are here to let the data prove us wrong. So, for 10 days, you've been forbidden to compare. Each session stood alone. You recorded, you closed the book, and you were explicitly told not to look at it. That restriction has been the discipline of phase 1. It's over. From today, comparison is the work. The book puts the phase in one line. The geometry begins to repeat. But I want you to add the clause the book leaves implicit, because it is the more important half. And if you do not hold it, you will spend the next 10 days deceiving yourself with great sincerity. The geometry begins to repeat, or it does not. Today, you are permitted to find out, and you are required to be willing for the answer to be no. Here's what I want you to understand about the danger of this particular day. For 10 days, I've been holding you back from doing the one thing your mind has been aching to do, which is to find a pattern. That ache has been building. And today, I take the lid off. A mind that has been forbidden to find patterns for 10 days, and it is then permitted to look for them, will find them. It will find them whether or not they are there. That is not a warning about weak-minded people. That is a warning about you and about me and about anyone who has ever looked at anything hoping it would mean something. So, today comes with a permission and a safeguard. And I'm going to give you both in the same breath because the permission is dangerous without it. Let me state the change precisely, because it is a narrow permission and not a general one. Days 1 through 10, complete each session without reviewing previous records. Let each day stand on its own. That rule bought you 10 independent maps, uncontaminated by one another. It was expensive. It is why the first phase felt like working in the dark, and it is the reason you now have something worth comparing. Day 11 through 20, and here is the instruction from the book, word for word. After each session, briefly review your map from 3 days prior. What has been repeated? Read that carefully, because there are 3 constraints hiding in one sentence, and every one of them matters. After each session, not during. The review still happens after you record is closed and frozen. You do not consult old maps while drawing a new one. If you do, you're not comparing 2 maps. You are copying one and calling the result a match. That rule has not relaxed at all, and it never will. Briefly, not an hour of study, a short look. You're not conducting an investigation into your own notebook. You are glancing at one prior map and noticing whether anything rhymes. And from 3 days prior, not yesterday. That last one is the most interesting, and most people would get it wrong if the book Spatial site had not specified it. I want you to spend a minute on why it says 3. Why 3 days and not yesterday? Because you remember yesterday. Think about what would happen if the instruction were to compare each session against the one before it. You sit down tonight. Yesterday's layout is still faintly in your mind. The shape of it, where the weight fell, which corner was empty. You are not aware of holding it, but you are holding it. And as you place cards and draw your map, that recent memory exerts a quiet pressure on what you produce and on what you notice. And then you compare and you find a resemblance. Of course you do. You have just compared today's map against the map you can still partially remember while making it. That's not a recurrence, that's an echo. And an echo tells you precisely nothing about the field because it originated in your own head from the parts of your mind doing their job. 3 days is enough that you cannot reliably reconstruct it. Sit right now and try to recall exactly what your day 8 layout looked like. Where the cluster sat, how wide the void was, what the tightest gap was. You cannot, not with any precision. The memory has decayed past the point of usable reproduction. And that decay is the whole point. It is doing exactly the same work that the 14-day gap does in the deck lexicon. It manufactures independence. It ensures that if today's geometry resembles day 8's, the resemblance did not come from your memory because your memory did not have it to give. The gap is what makes the match mean something. You're not being asked to wait 3 days out of caution or ceremony. The interval is a load-bearing part of the instrument. Now the safeguard, and you already have it. You've been carrying it for 10 days without needing it. Page 3 of every daily record, the Disconfirmation Metric. What would prove this reading wrong? Until now, that field has been mostly an exercise. You have been filling it in dutifully, and it has had very little to bite on because you had no readings and no patterns and nothing much to be wrong about. That changes today. In phase 1, the Disconfirmation Metric was practice. In phase 2, it is the point. Because from today, you're going to start noticing things. You will look at your day 8 map and your day 11 map, and something will rhyme. A cluster in the same zone, a void that keeps eating the same corner, and you'll feel the click, that small, warm, unmistakable click of a pattern arriving. That click is not evidence. That click feels exactly the same whether the pattern is real or invented. It is the same sensation the wallpaper face produces. Your nervous system does not stamp its perceptions with a reliability score, and it never will. So the moment you notice a candidate pattern, you do not celebrate it and you do not write it down as a finding. You do this instead. You write down what would prove it wrong in advance, before you know. In writing, in the field that has been waiting on page 3 for 11 days. Because a pattern that cannot fail is not a pattern. It is a preference. And you will not be able to tell the difference from the inside. Not ever. Not with more experience. Not with better instincts. The only thing that can tell the difference is a test you wrote down before you knew the answer. So what does a real confirmation look like? It has one property, and everything else follows it. It must be able to come true against you. On the left, testable. If my next 3 sessions show no cluster near the body, this pattern is dead. If the void appears anywhere but the left edge on day 14, I was wrong. Look at the structure of those. Each one names a specific observation in a specific window that would settle the matter, and settle it in a direction you would not enjoy. Each one could arrive and defeat you, and you would know it, and there would be nowhere to hide. On the right, unfalsifiable. If the pattern stops feeling true, if nothing further develops, if I am not meant to see it yet. Every one of those is an escape hatch wearing the clothes of a test. Look at what they have in common. None of them can ever be triggered by anything the world does. What would it look like for a pattern to stop feeling true? You would simply keep feeling it. What counts as nothing further developing? Something always develops. And if I'm not meant to see it yet, is the purest form of the thing. It converts every possible failure into evidence of a deeper timing. An entry like that does not protect you from anything. It is a ratchet. It only turns one way. So write the number, write the date, write the specific observation. Make it something the next 3 days could actually do to you. If your disconfirmation could not possibly be triggered by an outcome, you have not written a disconfirmation. You have written a wish in the shape of a test, and you've put it in the one field of the log whose entire purpose is to prevent that.